Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're doing what if George H.W. Bush won re-election in the 1992 election. Now, I've got 9 slides, 8, something like that, I don't know. So, we go through every election, so here you go. Starting off 1992, we give George H.W. Bush the closest states that Bill Clinton won in order for him to get over the 50% that he needs. We give him that. He wins re-election, 276, 262. Something Bush would need to do is make sure Ross Perot doesn't run, and either that or he doesn't jump back into the race. Maybe run on anti-NAFTA platform, maybe to appease the Perot voters. That's another thing that could happen. Yeah, because this election was pretty much a no-go for Bush, but I'm working with what I got. So what happens in Bush's second term, he would sign the second Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty with Russia. We would have the Iraq disarmament crisis. Even though I did say run an anti-NAFTA platform, Bush was corrupt, so he would still do NAFTA no matter what. The Kremlin Accords would be signed with Russia. He would implement a more conservative Violence Against Women Act. And there would be massive tax cuts, which would boost up his popularity. Going on to 1996, the Democrats nominate New Jersey Senator Bill Bradley, even though in the bottom picture it says Bill Brady, just ignore that. And Republicans nominate Kansas Senator Bob Dole. Vice President Dan Quayle does not run because Republicans know he's a terrible, terrible candidate. And since Bob Dole would still run a terrible campaign, though again there is no Ross Perot. But before that, Bill Bradley would choose Massachusetts Senator Paul Tsongas as running mate, and Bill Dole would still choose Jack Kemp. But Democrat Senator Bill Bradley would defeat Republican Senator Bob Dole 333-205 to become the 42nd president. And he would have a very uneventful first term. As we go into 2000, he would win the nomination without opposition. And on the Republican side, we'd have quite a bit challenges. However, George W. Bush, the son of the former president, George H.W. Bush, would run. And he would still choose Dick Cheney as his running mate, the former defense secretary. And Bill Bradley, he would be very popular. He wouldn't be that popular, though he'd be popular enough to beat George W. Bush very handily. Probably push the agenda that Bush would we don't need another 4 years or 8 years of another Bush after we just had 8 years of a terrible Bush as president. Giggity, I guess. But Democrat President Bill Bradley would defeat Republican Governor George Bush 318-219 to win re-election. Going forward, I could see George W. Bush running for Senate in Texas down the line like Mitt Romney did. I could absolutely see that. In Bradley's second term, we would have a more liberal No Child Left Behind Act. He would sign something that was a bit more liberal. We would still have 9/11. We would go into war with both Iraq and Afghanistan, as well as invading Iraq. And the Patriot Act would still be signed under President Bradley. And we go on to the 2004 election. And Democrats would nominate Secretary of State John Kerry, who many wanted Paul Tsongas, though he would not run. Instead, Secretary of State John Kerry seemed like the most viable option. And Republicans would nominate Texas Congressman Ron Paul. And for the running mates, John Kerry would still choose North Carolina Senator John Edwards, and Ron Paul would choose former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura, after there was much pushback by many Republicans in the inner circle. And though this would not help him win Minnesota, because Jesse Ventura is very unpopular in the state of Minnesota due to the fact that the state was in an economic depression when the country was having an economic surplus when Reagan was president. And that has all happened because of Jesse Ventura. Though Ron Paul would not be able to run a very good campaign, John Kerry is pretty much riding Bill Bradley's popularity into this election. Thus, Democrat Secretary John Kerry would defeat Republican Congressman Ron Paul 304-233 to become the 43rd president. And in Kerry's first term, the housing bubble would burst, the Great Recession would occur, as well as the war in Somalia. So Kerry's first term is defined by recession and war, which is not popular for Democrats. Going on to the 2008 election, Republicans would nominate Arizona Senator John McCain, still in this timeline, and he would still choose Sarah Palin only because John Edwards would decide not to run for re-election as vice president, and so John Kerry would have to pick a new one, and he would pick New York Senator Hillary Clinton as his running mate. Actually, it wouldn't be Clinton because Bill Clinton never became president, so she wouldn't have that popularity. So it might It'd probably be someone else. I don't know off the top of my head, though. I just realized that now, so just ignore the running mate section of this one. But Republican Senator John McCain would defeat Democrat President John Kerry 357 and 181 to become the 44th president. John McCain doing very, very well in this election. Actually going to the left of John Kerry on some issues, which will help him win over voters in states like Washington, Oregon, and New Jersey. Going on to I forgot to mention what McCain does in his first term. In his first term, the Great Recession does end. He would sign a national public smoking ban, so you can't smoke in public anymore. He would repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and we would also see the assassination of Osama bin Laden in his first term. Going on to 2012, Democrats would nominate Delaware Senator. Whoops, the cat just jumped on my computer. Democrats would nominate Senator Joe Biden, who would run on his second attempt, to run for president. He gets it this time, being very popular, going to the right of John McCain on a lot of issues, and he would choose California Senator Barbara Boxer as his running mate. Sarah Palin, we're still just going to go with McCain chooses Sarah Palin despite my screw-up, so my mistake. And Joe Biden would not run a very good campaign. McCain would be very popular due to his success in his first term. And Republican President John McCain would defeat Democrat Senator Joe Biden 321 to 217 to win re-election. In his second term, it would be very uneventful because of the gridlock between McCain and the Democrats. She's climbing up my leg. In 2016, Barack Obama would end up winning the Democrat nomination, defeating Vermont Senators Bernie Sanders, who ran 4 years prior in 2012, and as well as Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley. Republicans would nominate Vice President Sarah Palin, despite a lot of pushback from the Tea Party movement and some liberal, as well as the McCain Republicans, who are the liberal wing in this party. Barack Obama would choose Virginia Senator Tim Kaine as his running mate. As a fun fact, Tim Kaine was pretty much the runner-up in Barack Obama's vice presidential election choice in 2008, so he would choose Tim Kaine now since Joe Biden had ran unsuccessfully 4 years earlier. And Sarah Palin would choose a very traditional Republican, a Reagan-era Republican, and Newt Gingrich, hopefully to win over the traditional wing of the party, and maybe some McCain Republicans as well. Though Sarah Palin, of course, would run a terrible campaign compared to Barack Obama, which would cost her the election, and Democrat Senator Barack Obama would defeat Republican Vice President Sarah Palin 307 to 231 to become the 45th president. In Obama's first term, he would legalize recreational marijuana. He would strengthen relations with the TTP. We would see a more moderate version of Obamacare being implemented in his first term. But of course, we still have the COVID-19 pandemic, which will hurt Obama very hard, as he will face off against Texas Governor Greg Abbott. As many wouldn't see him running, and if he does, nobody sees him doing well. He would pick off Iowa and Nevada, and he would cruise to win most of the Super Tuesday states, which would give him the nomination. And Barack Obama would face two primary challengers in Marianne Williamson and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, who criticized him for his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. But Greg Abbott would be popular. In this timeline, Texas and Georgia would be solid Republican states. Republicans would traditionally win them by 10 points or more, despite the suburban trends and urban trends as well. Greg Abbott would choose Nikki Haley as his running mate, as this would piss off much of the Tea Party activists within the MOVE party. But Republican Governor Greg Abbott would defeat President Barack Obama 304 to 234 to become the 45th president. So Greg Abbott would, take on Obama and become the next president. And so I'm not going to detail what happens in Abbott's first term until after 2024, or just anyone after this up to 2020, though. So far, he would probably pass an economic stimulus package, probably create jobs, attempt to secure the border, and just a couple other things that he might have done that Joe Biden hasn't. Probably the eviction moratorium. He probably would have ended that a lot sooner, actually, which may cause a housing bubble burst, which would hurt his campaign, his re-election attempt in 2024. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go follow my Twitter @ChaoticPolitics. This is the Chaotic One saying peace.